Black money. That talk. Welcome to Black Money. I know y'all to listen to the data talk, so let the data talk. Now, before we get into everything, right, I want you guys to like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification button. Keep smashing that like button because this is gonna help the video get up on YouTube. And when people get on there and they search things like this, they'll be able to find the video faster. More importantly, I always tag my video with hashtag Africans, hashtag Liberian, and things like that. So people from where I'm from will be able to come on YouTube and find something like this that's going to be very beneficial and helpful to them. Again, subscribe to the channel, like the channel, and hit that notification button, that little bell right there. Just, you know what I mean? Just tap it one time. That way, anytime I post something new, you'll be the first one to get it right when I post it. Now, I'm very excited about this video yet. It's going to be a little long. I'll try to keep it as short as I can, but I want you to get all the information that you can get from this. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm very excited about this other video because this video here is about something that I'm very passionate about. Besides investing, this is also something that I'm very excited about. I'm very passionate about. It's in my top 5 about things that I'm passionate about. Now, because people don't really teach you this, schools don't do that, jobs. If your parents are not knowledgeable about it, they won't teach you this either. But this is something that we all should be very cautious about because it will hurt you and it can also benefit you a lot. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to buying a car, student loan, getting a house, your insurance, all those things, this thing right here will benefit you if it's good. If it's bad, it will hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Now, you're like, what is this guy talking about? Hurt you, anything? Well, this one right here is one of those things that when you're in America, you have to be on top of it. Now, what I'm talking about is credit, right? You have good credit and you got bad credit. And people are like, what is credit? Well, credit is a number, right? It's a number that'll either help you or hurt you. Now, how does it hurt you? It hurt you if your number is low. If your number is below, let's say 600, 640, it will hurt you. Why? Because you have something they call interest. Interest. If you have a low credit score, you usually have to pay high interest on everything. Loans, cars, student loans, things like that. And also, a bad credit will actually stop you from getting certain things that you want to get, like car insurance, cars, house, apartments, medical insurance. I read something about that the medical industry, when it comes to insurance and things like that, they're looking into how to use that to affect you too. So you got to be careful. Now, if you have good credit, right, that means you get low interest rates, right? On cars, on loans, student loans, all the things. And then also it opens the door for you to be able to go and get anything that you want without even having that much money, as long as you got a job and you're making a certain amount, right? So all of those things play effect. Now, this video is not about how to build your credit or how to keep a good credit score. It's actually about people who already have credit, you know what I'm saying? And they have debts or collections account on their credit, and they trying to figure out how to get that off or how it got on there. This video is going to tell you about that. It's going to also inform you that you should never pay a debt collector. That's really what this main video is about. You not paying credit or debt collectors. Why? Because it's multiple things that come into effect, and as we go down in this video, you will see everything that I'm talking about. So we're going to go step by step. I'm not going to jump over anything, right? So we talk about collection accounts, right? collections account are really defaults on original credits, loans. Usually, a company will send your account to collection within 4 months or 120 days, right? And what happens is you have these companies that you call debt collectors. Debt collectors could be me, you, or anybody else who has a company that collect debts, right? Meaning, for example, T-Mobile, right? T-Mobile has all these debt from people that owe them money, right? John owed T-Mobile $500. John haven't paid his bills in 4 months, right? It goes into default 120 days. T-Mobile say, you know what, John probably not going to pay this bill. We need to figure out some kind of way to get our money back. So then they'll take John's account and put it in a folder. Peter, Suzanne, Sarah, all these people in there, Joanna. They'll take all these debts and put it in a folder. It can be up to 1,000, 2,000, couple of millions. And then you have a debt collector who said, I'll buy this folder from you with all these debts on it, but I'm not going to pay you the full amount, right? So this folder might be worth $2, $3, $4, $5 million, but this debt collector is like, I'll take that folder off your hand, but I'm not going to give you the full amount. I will give you, I'll pay you pennies on a dollar. So that's how usually that works. A debt collector will buy a folder full of debts for pennies on a dollar. So you're like, why had they call me and say, oh, I owe $2,000 if they already paid it? Because you might or you might not owe them the money, but it might not be, you might not have to pay that in full. And it's not against the law, they can do that, but there's also laws that protect you also. And we're gonna go into that. You have charge-off. Charge-off accounts are usually credit cards, auto loans that got repossessed, right? What companies do when there's a charge-off account or, things like that, they file for losses on their tax return, okay? Get that, understand that, put it in the back of your head, write it down somewhere. Companies file for losses on their taxes, meaning at the end of the year when they file their taxes and report their wins and loss, their gains and loss, right? They have to report their loss. Me being a business owner and other people who own businesses or entrepreneurs, they know you have to file tax and report that. When you report that, you might get a credit for that, right? So credit cards, $500 credit card you got from Visa, right? You didn't pay it back. Visa reported that. It's on your credit. At the end of the year, they file their taxes and they report that loss. Now, they get credit for that $500 that you owe them. They might not get the whole thing back, but they get something. And that comes back into T-Mobile where, they sell your debt to debt collectors and they get a certain amount of money back. So now you're like, again, why do I have to pay this full amount if they, claim that on their taxes and they get certain money back? Because there's laws that protect them and there's laws that say that they can do that. So we can stop them, but there's also laws that say we have the right to do what we have to do to protect ourselves from things like that too. So then one of those laws are statute of limitation, right? Statutes of limitations are different and specific to each state. Most of them are the same and most of them range from 7 to 10 years. And a statute of limitations is a certain amount of time a company can sue you for a debt that you owe, or a certain amount of time a debt can stay on your credit, can stay on your credit, not report it, but stay on your credit. What that means is, let's say there's a debt on your credit report for about 5 years, right? And you never had the money to pay, so that's why it's been there in the first place. So you've been doing good, you got a good job, everything is good, and you try to go get something, a car loan or something, and it comes back and they say, oh, you owe T-Mobile, $500. And they're waiting to give you the whatever it is that they're giving you, the car loan, but they'll charge you a high interest because of your credit score, right? But they're telling you, hey, if you go ahead and take care of this and it boosts your credit up a little bit, it will help you get a lower interest rate, right? And you're like, Okay, cool. Since I got a good job now and I got this money, I'm gonna go ahead and pay this and see what it does. If you pay it off, yeah, it will increase your credit, but we'll go into that on how to pay off debts on your credit profile and things like that. But yeah, you go ahead and do that. You want to pay it off or whatever, and you call them, or it just so happened they call you, and you start talking to them. They asking you questions. You like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I got that money. Yeah, I'm willing to pay it back. Blah blah blah, and something happens. Recession, coronavirus hit. Something happened. You wake up. You like, damn. I don't think I want to, take all this money and give it to T-Mobile, and I won't have money to eat or do this, blah, 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 all these extra things. So you decide you're not going to pay T-Mobile that $500. You don't need the car anyway because they just lay you off from your job, and now you need all this extra money now to keep you secure for the time being, right? So bam. What that does is it restarts that statute of limitation on that debt. So now this company can go back and re-report that debt back on your credit. And you're like, damn, yeah, you didn't know that. I didn't know that either, right? So now that debt that was on your credit profile for about 5 years can now be restarted, and that 5 years is just gone. So now that debt has been restarted, and once it hit your credit profile, you're not liable to lose up to 30 or 60 points on your credit score, on your credit report. You know what I'm saying? So your credit is already fucked up. Now you're going to lose another 40 to 60 points for a credit that already hit you for 40 or 60 points 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Look at it. It don't make no sense. So that's why you don't talk to these people, because you won't know what to tell them. Tell them, you know what I'm saying? And to be honest, don't answer the phone. If you do, tell them you don't know what it is, you don't understand it, you have nothing to do with it, and they got the wrong number. Case closed. Easiest way to go. Now, you're like, but the account is mine. Well, if the account is yours and you have the money to pay it. Simple. But if the account is not yours, right? Or even if the account is yours, but you don't have the money to pay it, it's safer for you to not agree to anything they say. You know what I'm saying? Just looking out for you. Now, I will explain that, how that's going to help you later on down the line, right? But let's keep going. Never settle an account, right? So let's say you actually, you ready to the recession's over, Corona is gone, you ready to get your life back together, you want your account, your credit score good, you want, there's things that you need, you want to get back to life, right? But you still got these debts, and you're like, how do I take care of these debts? How do I get these debts off my credit score? Now, there's multiple ways you can do this, and that's why I say you don't agree to anything these people say, and you don't answer any questions because you won't know what to say to them. Now, one of the things that you don't want to do is settle a debt. You know what I'm saying? When you settle his debt, it's different than actually paying off this debt or getting it off your credit score. Now, when you settle a debt, if you don't pay that debt in full, the company has the right to re-report how much amount is left over. Okay? So they call you to say, okay, you owe $500. We know you haven't paid this in 5 years. And you're like, yeah, that's my account, blah, blah, blah. You agreed to it, bam. You just said that was your account. You agreed to it. They have you. Most of the time they record you. They can re-report that, right? But then they try to be slick. They're always slick because they want to get that money from you. Even though they bought that account for a penny on the dollar, they still want to get that full amount of money from you, or as much as they can, because no matter what, they're winning. As soon as you give them any kind of money, they're winning, right? So they're like, you know what? You haven't paid this in 5 years, blah, blah, blah. We know it's struggling time. You might not have, that $500 to pay us, but we'd like for you to settle this debt. Keyword, settle this debt for $250, and then we'll call it even, right? And you're like, man, if I can go from $500 to $250, you know what I'm saying? I'm saving money. True, but you're hurting yourself. because once you pay that $250, right? You pay that $250. Now you still owe $250. It does not just disappear. It's there. You still owe that $250. You know what I'm saying? You agreed to it, so yeah, you owe that $250. Now this debt collector can say, you know, okay, it's full, blah blah blah. That's just word of mouth. Do not take anybody's word for anything. Always get things on paper, right? So you pay that $250. They said, cool, we good. They send you a letter or whatever and say, oh yeah, you paid $250. But you didn't pay the account in full, right? So now you still owe $250. They can report that $250 back on your credit, and it will start back as a brand new debt because your account was never paid in full, right? So now they can either come at you again for that $250, which they will not do because they already got that $250 from you and they already won because they bought your debt in a whole folder with other debts for penny on a dollar. So now they can sell that debt to somebody else, and then that other debt collector can now report that to your credit, which will hit you for about 40 to 60 more points. And now they can come at you for that rest of that $250. And if you coon, you know what I'm saying? Like we like bringing people and say, you coon, or you fool or something like that, you sucker. You know what I'm saying? They will come at you with that $250 and try to get you to settle for $125. You know, you see how that works? So eventually you're going to end up paying back that $250, even if it's in increments. But you have to be smart. You have to watch this video, take notes, watch my other videos, and be smart about your life, your money, and your credit, because it will hurt you, and it also can be very beneficial to you, right? So you don't settle with any debt collector. You don't pay any debt collectors. If you absolutely have the money right then and there to pay that debt, pay that debt. You know what I'm saying? Don't beat around the bush with that, because it will hurt you, right? So then once they report that, the statute of limitations starts back over. So now you're back from 5 years to 1 day. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. So then that hits you for 40 to 60 points. Credit score drops some more. And then you just out of there. Now you're like, so what do I do? Stop running your mouth, Adam. What do I do? Well, I'm about to tell you what you do. I just want to make sure that you guys understand that it's concrete in your head. You got it jotted down on paper, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, this is what you do, right? When you see a debt on your account, okay, and you have the money to pay it, okay, you call the debt collector. You still don't have to agree to anything. You don't have to agree to anything they say, right? You call the debt collector and you tell them, hey, there's a debt on my account and I see you guys are the one who reported it. Can you give me information about this debt? They'll tell you or whatever they have on there. They'll give you names, dates, amount owed, all of that. And then you can tell them, okay, I'm willing to pay this debt off, but I want to pay for deletion. That means they have to delete this off your credit report, and they cannot report this to any credit bureau again to try to hit you for anything like that. You pay for deletion. And when you pay for deletion, they have to send you or give you a letter that says this account has been paid in full for deletion. It's been paid for deletion. That means it should not be reported on your credit score anymore. You got to report that. I mean, you got to remember to tell them you pay for deletion. Okay? Now, that's absolutely, if you have the money, go do that. If you have the money. If you don't have the money, right? Or you are certainly sure that this account is not yours, or the account is yours, but you don't have the money to pay this. Now, there's laws that can help you get out of that debt without paying nothing. Okay? But remember, there are also laws that help these companies to make money off of your debt and still come at you for the full amount of that debt. So they're, taking loopholes to make money, And there are laws that allow you to take, certain loopholes to not have to pay certain debts that's on your credit report, right? So what you want to do is you want to call them, tell them you're not agreeing to anything. It's not your account. You saw it on your credit score, so you're trying to see why it's there, where is it from, and you're looking to get more information on it. After you do that and you gather all those information, they can either send it through an email or anything. Now you want to dispute that debt. Okay? When you dispute a debt, you're sending a letter to the debt collector and the credit bureaus telling them that you don't agree with this debt that's being reported on your credit profile, and you sent information to prove that the debt is not yours. Really, you just send in your name, social address, things like that. That's really what they want. You give them a reason why you don't think that debt is yours. Okay, either it can be the amount because you have interest, you have stuff like that that's accumulate over time. You have people reporting the wrong information. Let's take Sarah for a minute, right? Sarah worked for T-Mobile. Sarah's boyfriend just broke up with her. Sarah friends then been clowning on her because her boyfriend broke up with her for one of her other friends. So Sarah's going through a bad day, right? Sarah got to work get to work at T-Mobile. Her manager said, "Hey, here's a folder full of paperwork of debts and things. I want you to consolidate them and try to get it sold off to a debt collector so we can gain a little bit from there, right?" So Sarah is mad. She's sad. She in her feelings. You know what I'm saying? So Sarah is not focusing on the work. She's thinking about her boyfriend that left her for one of her other friends, right? So Sarah got all this paperwork there, putting it together, and it just so happened that your debt is one of the debt that Sarah messed up on. It can be your name. It can be your address. I'm not thinking your address, but it can be your name. It can be your social. It can be the amount that you actually owe. It can be something like that. Now, when you dispute this debt, the credit bureau is going to reach out to the debt collector, right? Not T-Mobile, because remember, T-Mobile doesn't own this account anymore. There are certain cases where companies will pay debt collectors to collect this debt and pay them a certain amount or percentage or whatever they can get for the debt. But most of the time, they buy these debt in bulks with pennies on the dollar. So these credit bureaus, there's 3 credit bureaus. They'll reach out to the debt collector and say, "Hey, John said that debt not for him, and this is why he think the debt not for him. Can you prove that it's debt for John? What information or do you have to prove that this debt belongs to John?" Now, the debt collector would send the information that they received from T-Mobile, from Sarah, on behalf of T-Mobile, right? Now, T-Mobile don't have nothing to do with this anymore because the debt collector already bought it. So they can't contact T-Mobile. They can if they want to, if they have that type of relationship, but they most likely won't because they got all the paperwork that they need, and T-Mobile might not even have time to be associated with them if they already paid in for this debt, right? Because they're not going to make nothing else off this debt. So why would they waste their time to help this debt collector, right? So this debt collector got all this paperwork. They're going through it. They find your profile. They send all the information that they have in there to prove that it's debt for you, right? Now the credit bureau looking through this information that the debt collector sent them, and they see your name is messed up. They misspell your name. I'm African. You might be African, or whoever watching this video. If you got some kind of weird black name, they misspell your name, right? They got your birthday wrong. They accidentally got your social security wrong. They missed one number, right? Remember, Sarah boyfriend broke up for her friend. Sarah is mad. Sarah is angry. Sarah is frustrated. You know what I'm saying? So Sarah made a couple of mistakes, and it just happened to be one of your file just happened to be one of the files that she made a mistake in. Now, that's a big win for you because then the bureau is gonna come to the conclusion and let this debt collector know that, hey, you cannot report this on this person's profile anymore because these informations do not match, and it doesn't show that their account belongs to this person. That's a big win for you. So now they get to take that account off of your credit report, and it will instantly boost your credit back up. Now, your credit score being boosted has a lot to do with also your debt to income ratio. That's how much you make compared to how much you owe. You know, in general, meaning all the debt that you got to get off compared to how much money you bring in, right? So then that account gets to be removed from your debt for that time being until they sell it to somebody else to try to collect it from you, right? But then you don't just stop there. You can send them a letter called cease and desist, right? That means they can no longer report this on your credit. They may no longer sell this to anybody else to try to collect this from you because those informations on there are false, and that proves that that credit that debt does not belong to you. Now, let me tell you this: 70% of debts that are bought by debt collectors has errors in them, right? So that might be you or anybody else. So you want to make sure you're not agreeing to anything that a debt collector would say to you. You're not answering their phone calls. If you do, tell them they got the wrong number, hang up the phone, right? Because in order to do these last things that I told you that you can do, you cannot be out there telling these people that, yes, that's mine, or this and that, or I'm going to do this and that, and you don't do it, because then these things will not work. Then you should have turned off my video about 10 minutes ago. But if you want to get these debts off your credit without paying nothing, if it is yours or not, when they call you, you don't talk to them. If you do, you tell them this is not your debt. They got the wrong number. You don't know what they're talking about, and you hang up the phone, right? This is Black Money. You're listening to the Doctor Talk. So let it Doctor Talk, right? You don't answer or talk to or agree to debt collectors. Like and subscribe to this video. Hit the notification button. I'll be back with more videos for you. I'm here to help y'all. Let's get it.